Hello, friends. Today, Snuggles, Angel, and myself will be sharing a story with you called Darryl and the Mountain, written by Lynn Emily Osger and illustrated by Ismail Abe. In a world called Dunya, at the edge of a beautiful thick green forest named Greenwoods, the ruler, guide, and king of all the animals, Andrew the lion, had summoned two animals who were about to undertake a long and dangerous journey over a huge mountain to another forest called Pretty Leaves. Darryl the deer had to go in order to find a rare healing plant which would help his mother get well. Freddie the fox wanted to go merely to see what it was like and to have the other animals talk about how brave he was.
I offer you both protection and guidance during your perilous trip over Giant Mountain,
said the most kind and helpful Lion King.
It is rocky and steep. The air is thin and dry, and there are few trees and little water. You will come across unfriendly animals and many obstacles. You may tell anyone you meet that I am the one who sent you. This will shield you from danger,
said the king, their protector. Darryl was humble and modest and quickly accepted the king's offer. Freddie, however, was proud and conceited and thought he did not need help from anyone. Thank you, sir, but I can take care of myself, he said. That day, both Darryl and Freddie ate large meals and drank lots of milk to store up energy for their journeys. They both got lots of sleep that night, so they would be well rested. The next morning, they started hiking at dawn. The mountain appeared soft and majestic in the morning mist. Darryl and Freddie admired its beauty. Many animals gathered to say goodbye to them and wish them luck. Darryl told them he would do his best to get over the mountain and find the healing plants for his mother. Then he said goodbye. Freddie boasted that he would return in half the time it would take the deer. Darryl had been walking up the mountain for 2 days without seeing a single animal, when suddenly he noticed a scary-looking rattlesnake just in front of his feet. The snake had fierce eyes and was flicking its forked tongue in and out. Darryl was frightened. He stopped and said, "Rattlesnake, I am traveling over the mountain in the name of our king the lion. May I pass?" "You may walk around me, and I will not bite," the snake hissed. Darryl the deer continued on his way unharmed. Freddie had also been walking for some days when he came upon the same menacing rattlesnake in the middle of his path. Freddie was not afraid out of false pride. "Get out of my way, rattlesnake. I will pass," said Freddie. "I will not move," hissed the snake while showing his long, sharp fangs. "You may take your chances." Then the snake began shaking his rattle and coiling up to strike. Freddie made a huffing noise and stepped right over the rattlesnake. As Freddie's last leg passed over the snake, he instantly sprang up and bit him hard. Freddie fell down and screamed in pain. Then he sprang up and ran up the path away from the snake. He looked down and saw his leg was bleeding. All he could do was suck on the wound with his mouth and spit out some of the poison. Luckily for him, the bite did not kill him. Darryl had been walking for 10 days and could not find any food or water when he came upon a pack of 3 wolves that lived in a cave in the mountain. The wolves were snarling when one of them said to him, "Why are you here? And why should we not eat you?" Darryl trembled with fear at the sight of them, but he was too weak to run away. Then he remembered what the king of the animals had told him. "I am journeying in the name of our king the lion, and I mean you no harm," replied Darryl. Upon hearing these words, the wolves became friendly and took him to their cave, where they gave him food and water. He was over halfway through his journey. Darryl thanked them and continued on his way. Freddie was 12 days into his journey. hungry, thirsty, and very tired, when he too came upon the three wolves.
"Why are you here, and why should we not eat you?"
the wolf leader snarled. Freddie was truly afraid, but he decided to hide it with foolish boasting. "I go where I please," he said. "You cannot eat me because you cannot catch me," he went on. This made the wolves angry, and they immediately chased Freddie, intending to kill him. Freddie ran as fast as he could up a cliff to a tiny little place on the rocks where the wolves could not climb. He squatted there very frightened and closed his eyes. He listened to the horrible noise of the wolves snarling and their jaws snapping shut only inches away from him as they jumped at him. All night the wolves took turns watching him, waiting for him to fall down. Fortunately, the next day the wolves became interested in something else and left. Then finally, Freddie was able to get down. He continued his journey, still tired, thirsty, hungry, in pain, and now very sleepy, since he had been up all night. Meanwhile, Darryl could smell flowers, grass, and water, and it gave him great hope to think he had almost finished his journey. He came to a place on the mountain which was like a giant wall. He could see no way around since it seemed so long, and he could see no way to climb up since it looked so vertical and smooth. Just then, a small black object flew toward him and then landed on a nearby tree branch. He saw that it was a strange bird that liked to hang upside down. It had skin on its wings and big pointy ears. "Excuse me, sir. I am traveling over this mountain in the name of our king, the lion, and I don't know how to get past this wall. Can you help me?" he asked. "Why, of course," replied the bat. "I live in a cave which has a passage that goes under this wall. Just follow me." Darryl the deer followed him through the dark cave, and when he came out, to his amazement, he saw beautiful green trees and plants and heard birds singing. He rejoiced that he had completed his journey and had reached Pretty Leaves Forest. He danced round and round a clump of fragrant flowers. Then he met a rabbit who greeted him. The rabbit was surprised he had made it over the mountain in such a short time and looking in such good shape. Darryl told him that he had traveled with the guidance and protection of the Lion King, and that this had given him strength, courage, and humility. The rabbit showed him where the plant grew, which he needed to help his mother get well. He was very thankful that when he got back to his home, he would be able to help her. Back up on the mountain, at last Freddie had reached the giant cliff wall. He was exhausted and now could not see how to get around this obstacle. The little bat flew up to him and said, "Can I help you?" Freddie was not kind to the bat and grumbled, "You are a little speck of an animal. What do you think you can do for me?" The bat disappeared in a flash, and Freddie ended up walking all day to get around the wall. Finally, he came to the end of his journey by reaching Pretty Leaves Forest. He arrived 2 full days after Darryl, and in such bad shape that he was barely alive. The rabbit came up to him and said, "You look terrible. What kind of fox are you?" Freddie the Fox thought to himself how foolish he had been to let his pride be so great that it had nearly destroyed him. "You wouldn't believe what I've been through," he gasped. "I'm a fox who is too proud for his own good. I should have accepted help from the Lion King for my trip. Have you got a Band-Aid?" Talking points. Why was Darryl happy when he made it over the mountain, but Freddie was only tired? Who had a better reason for traveling over the mountain, Freddie or Darryl? Do you think it is good to get help when you have a difficult task? The end. Thank you for joining us for today's Read Aloud.